Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Some memories don't come back as pictures. They come back as sounds. A click, a hum, a beep, or a clack can drop you straight into a different decade before you even realize what's happening. The 1970s were full of sounds we didn't think twice about at the time. So let's take a listen back in time as we count down 13 sounds that instantly take you back to the 1970s. Number 1. Switching channels on a 70s TV. Before remote controls quietly ruled the living room, changing the channel was a physical, audible act, almost ceremonial. You didn't just tap a button, you grabbed the side of the television and twisted that chunky plastic knob with intention. The moment it turned, the set answered back with that unmistakable ka-chunk, a heavy mechanical sound that felt like gears locking into place. The screen would wobble, bend, or briefly dissolve into static before the picture snapped into focus, often a second before the sound caught up. That sound carried authority. It echoed through the room and announced to everyone exactly what was happening. Someone had decided to change the channel. Kids learned quickly not to touch it without permission, and dads had a very specific grip that said, "This show matters." If reception was bad, you'd hear multiple ka-chunks in a row as someone hunted for the clearest signal, sometimes stopping halfway between channels where the picture fuzzed and the audio screamed. And when you were the designated channel changer, you felt important. You sat close to the TV all evening, waiting for instructions. Try channel 7, go back 1. No, the other way. That solid, satisfying K-chunk wasn't just a sound. It was control, patience, and family negotiation wrapped into one loud click. Number 2. The laugh track from every 1970s sitcom. The laugh track was practically another member of the family in the 1970s. It didn't matter which show you were watching, All in the Family, The Brady Bunch, Good Times, Laverne and Shirley. That wall of canned laughter was always there, swelling up at just the right moment, telling you when something was funny whether you laughed or not. It burst out loud, confident, and slightly too enthusiastic, filling the living room like background noise you never questioned. What made it unforgettable was how big it sounded. The laughter wasn't polite or subtle. It was a roaring crowd, a chorus of voices clapping, whooping, and cackling in unison. Even quiet punchlines were followed by explosive applause that seemed to shake the console TV speakers. You could walk into the room from the kitchen and know instantly what was on, just by hearing that familiar rhythm of setup. It was the soundtrack of TV dinners, TV trays, and families settling in after dinner. Over time, the laugh track became comforting. It meant the day was winding down, homework was done, and everyone was finally sitting still. Even reruns felt fresh because the laughter never changed. The same chuckles, the same gasps, the same clapping you'd heard 100 times before. Today, those laugh tracks sound over the top and strange, but back then they told us exactly where we were. Safe on the couch, watching something familiar, with the whole house breathing at the same pace. Number 3. The school film strip beep. The school film strip beep is one of those sounds that lives permanently in your brain, whether you want it there or not. Long before streaming videos, projectors, or smartboards, this single sharp beep controlled the entire classroom. The lights would dim, the teacher would roll down the scratchy pull-down screen, and the room would suddenly feel colder and quieter. Then came the low mechanical hum of the projector warming up. And then it happened. That loud, unmistakable beep cut through the room like a command. Beep! It meant the teacher had to stand up, walk to the projector, and click the film strip forward to the next frame. Everyone knew it. No one ever confused it for anything else. It was precise, bossy, and impossible to ignore. If the teacher missed it, kids would start whispering, "There it is. She missed it," until someone finally said it out loud. The beep became part of the lesson itself. You'd start anticipating it, counting the seconds between frames, half listening to the narrator's flat, authoritative voice while waiting for that cue. Sometimes it startled you. Sometimes it made you jump in your seat. But it always brought the same reaction. A brief pause, the click of the projector advancing, and the image snapping into place. Decades later, that sound still has the power to transport you instantly back to a darkened classroom, feet dangling from a hard chair, the smell of dust and pencil shavings in the air, waiting for the next beep to tell the world to move forward. Number 4. The TV sign-off. Late at night, after the last program ended, television simply stopped. The national anthem played over patriotic imagery, flags waving slowly on screen, while families quietly watched from couches and recliners. Then came the sudden shift. The image vanished, replaced by a harsh, static hiss, followed by the eerie, endless shh of the test pattern. That sound meant the day was truly over. No more shows. No more choices. Time for bed. Number 5. Grinding a classroom pencil sharpener. Every classroom had one mounted pencil sharpener, usually screwed into the wall near the trash can. When someone turned the handle, the sound cut through everything. Gritty, loud, and impossible to ignore. Conversation stopped. Teachers paused mid-sentence. Everyone looked over, judging whether the sharpening was necessary or suspiciously long. That sound was as much a part of school as chalk dust and wooden desks. If these sounds instantly took you back, make sure to subscribe. We're always digging into the memories that never really leave us, and there's plenty more where this came from. And don't forget to join us on Facebook, where the comment sections turn into full-on memory reunions. The stories people share there are half the fun. Number 6. Dialing a rotary phone. Dialing a rotary phone wasn't just making a call, it was a full-body experience. You didn't rush it and you couldn't mess it up, because if you did, you started all over again. You placed your finger into the cold plastic hole, dragged the dial slowly clockwise until it hit the metal stop, and then waited. That sound wasn't background noise, it was the sound of commitment. Every number had its own rhythm. A 0 took forever, stretching the wait just long enough to test your patience. A 7 felt quick and confident. Kids learned phone numbers not just by memory, but by timing. How long the dial spun back between each digit. You'd sometimes hold your breath, watching the dial return, hoping nobody in the house picked up another receiver and ruined the call. There was something deeply personal about that sound echoing through a quiet room. Late at night, you tried to dial softly so your parents wouldn't hear. In the afternoon, the clicking carried down the hallway while someone yelled, "Who are you calling?" The rotary phone announced your intentions before the call even connected. And when someone finally answered on the other end, it felt earned. You didn't accidentally dial someone. You didn't butt call. You worked to reach them. That slow, whirring click, click, click wasn't just a sound. It was the pace of communication in the 1970s, when conversation started before anyone even said hello. Number 7. Slide projector, fan and click. Family gatherings often ended with the slide projector coming out. First came the warm, steady fan hum, filling the room as the machine heated up. The smell of warm plastic and dust mixed with quiet commentary from relatives. That sound meant vacation memories, blurry photos, and stories you'd already heard, but listened to anyway. Number 8. The clack of Dr. Scholl's wooden sandals.
I think I figured it out. Why they call them Scholl exercise sandals. I got them because they feel so good, and they go almost anywhere, and because everybody else wears them.
You didn't need to see someone coming, you heard them first. Dr. Scholl's wooden sandals made a sharp clack, clack, clack on tile floors in schools, malls, and grocery stores. Every step announced confidence, style, and a little bit of rebellion. Teen girls especially loved them, even though they were heavy and unforgiving. That sound is pure 1970s fashion echoing down a hallway. Number 9. Rewinding a cassette tape. Before digital playlists, rewinding meant commitment. You pressed the button and heard that fast mechanical zzzzt as the tape spun back inside the cassette. Sometimes you waited patiently. Sometimes you guessed and stopped too early. Other times you overshot and had to rewind again. That sound meant anticipation, getting back to your favorite song or replaying something important. Number 10. Polaroid camera, whir and click. Taking a photo with a Polaroid was an event. You pressed the button and watched as the photo slid out the front. Everyone leaned in, waiting for the image to appear. The soft mechanical sounds, combined with excitement, curiosity, and that familiar chemical smell. It wasn't instant gratification, it was instant suspense. Number 11. Evening news. Intros. The evening news didn't whisper, it announced itself. The bold brass fanfare of ABC, the dramatic timpani and trumpets of NBC. And the unmistakable doom, 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 doom of CBS all signaled seriousness.
This is the CBS Evening News with Walter Cronkite.
That sound meant dinner was over, the day was being explained, and adults were paying attention. Kids knew it was time to quiet down or find something else to do. Number 12. Atari, Space Invaders. Few sounds defined late 70s technology like Space Invaders. The steady beep, 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 beep sped up as the aliens marched closer, raising tension with every second. That sound filled living rooms, rec rooms, and basements, drawing entire families in. It was thrilling, stressful, and unforgettable. The soundtrack of early video game obsession. Now tell us, which sound hit you the hardest? Was there one you could hear before we even finished describing it? Drop it in the comments and let's relive it together. Number 13. Let's go to the lobby. Jingle.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Before movies started, there it was. Cheerful, bouncy, and impossible to ignore. Let's all go to the lobby, played as dancing snacks marched across the screen. That jingle meant popcorn, candy boxes, and maybe one last bathroom trip before the lights went down. It was pure excitement wrapped in a few seconds of music, and it still triggers smiles today. These sounds weren't just background noise. They were markers of time, routine, and shared experience. They filled classrooms, living rooms, kitchens, and hallways, shaping everyday life in ways we didn't realize until they disappeared. And the amazing thing is, even decades later, a single second of one of these sounds can bring it all rushing back.